Welcome everyone here at Taraka Railways, and thank you for joining me once again as we do the rollout number 4 of the LMS locomotives. LMS 1000, it's a compound locomotive, a Midland compound, and this model is by Hornby, and I believe it is R376 class 4P 440 wheel arrangement in LMS livery. Now the box is tatty, as you can see. And now starting at the tender at the back, we can see great finishes by Hornby and the yellow lining on the tender and the LMS wording on the tender greatly applied, along with the handrails and the normal extras applied to the tender as usual. Great finish by Hornby. So looking at the front of the locomotive now, for an old locomotive, it definitely has a lot to offer, a lot of detail. Safety valves and the brass whistle, great cab finishes, the boiler detail, and the shapely chimney, and then obviously the yellow lining surrounding the locomotive completely along with the tender. The number 1000 is also nicely applied. And what a nice classic epic locomotive to have as part of my collection in the crimson LMS livery. I fitted the driver and the coalman as well as the lanterns on the locomotive, so I think that just completes it fully. And definitely in this condition, thanks for the family for looking after it so long. I really love this little loco, and it is really a part of me, and I'm very protective over this loco and you would know why. And just another word on the cab finishes. Obviously it's been painted but just with gold outlined, but it does actually emphasize the features in the cab that Hornby has designed inside, and it's great finishes overall, and it does bring some authenticness to the locomotive. And just coming back to that, also with the boxing of this locomotive, it is a different type of style of boxing, and the box is definitely strange. It's just only two pieces of polystyrene and no sticker on the box, and I just see the family wrote there compound 4P maroon livery, and I think that is all you need to know. And the idea of the packaging of the logo, it really makes sense because you can just remove the one part of the box and the logo is easily accessible. You don't have to force it out and it won't get damaged. I think that is one of the reasons why the logo is still in such a good condition after being played with for many years. And obviously this is a steam locomotive, and the designer is Samuel White Johnson, a renewed as superheated Deaney compound by Henry Fowler, and the builder was Derby Works, and the build dates was 1902 up till 1909, and the total produced was 45 of these locomotives. The rebuild dates was 1913 up to 1928. And with that being said, now we are off to the favorite part of this episode, and this is the history of the LMS compound steam locomotive number 1000. The Midland Railway 1000 class is a class of 440 steam locomotive designed for passenger work. They were known to reach speeds up to 85 miles per hour, which results into 137 kilometers per hour. And these were developed from a series of 5 locomotives ranging from 2631 to 2635, introduced in 1902 by Samuel White Johnson, which had a 3-cylinder compound arrangement of the Smith system, with one high-pressure cylinder inside the frame and two low-pressure cylinders on the outside, and used Smith's starting arrangement. On the first two locomotives, independent control of high pressure and low pressure valve gears were available. From 1905 onwards, Johnson's successor Richard Dealey built an enlarged and amplified version, eliminating all the Smith refinements and fitting his own starting arrangement, making the engines simpler to drive. These locomotives were originally numbered 1000 to 1029, but in 1907 renumbering scheme, the five Smith-Johnson locomotives became 1000 to 1004, and the Dealey compounds 1005 up to 1034. 10 more of these were added in 1908 and 1909. The original Johnson locomotives were all subsequently renewed as Dealey compounds, including the now preserved 1000, which was rebuilt and outshot with a superheater in 1914. That is our locomotive we have here today on the layout, Locomotive 1000. Number 1000 to 1044 by both the Midland and LMS companies, British Railways renumbered the Midland series of compounds 41000 to 41044 after nationalisation in 1948. After the grouping, the LMS continued to build slightly modified MR compounds as the LMS compound 440. Number 1000 was set aside for preservation after withdrawal in 1951 and restored in 1959 close to its 1914 condition, painted in Midland maroon livery, running enthusiast specials until placed in the temporary Clapham Transport Museum. Though steamed since preservation, it is currently a static exhibit at the Barrow Hill Engine Shed at Derbyshire, having been lent by the National Railway Museum in York. Now, as you can see, I'm definitely one of the LMS fans as well, and I do run LMS GWR, the whole Fruity Looties on my layout. So always welcome, and so is all people. But yeah, having a look here, you'll see some of the locomotives in the LMS class that I do run on the layout as well. Now on the layout, I've run the locomotive with some crimson like coaches with the silver roofs and the white interior, and like I indicated in one of the other episodes, and I think it was LMS episode 3, is that the coaches interior does differ. The ones that made in China is about a brownish color, and the ones made in Great Britain is the whitish interior. That's the difference between the coaches, and it runs through all the way to the blue coronation coaches as well, but we'll get that in the next episode, so please stay tuned. And I must say, these coaches are really good quality of Hornby, and not comparable with the coaches that we get these days.